time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom Chenka, how's it going everyone? It's the Flying Pig here on the Pig and the Hen Show. It's Wednesday, sorry we're a few minutes late, just having a few technical issues getting underway. Joined by Henry Hotspur here, how's it going Henry?
Well, I mean, we say technical issues, but it's more kind of like geographical, like locally positional issues for myself. Obviously, as everybody's accusing me of being homeless, it's probably true. It's not true, but let's just pretend it's true. So I've been wandering around trying to find somewhere where there isn't too much wind, because nobody likes to listen to wind on these shows, do they? You know, wind is not what you subscribe to, is it? So, I mean, am I coming through loud and clear? Can you see me? I've got a light in front of me. Hopefully, it's shining on my face.
Mate, we can see you just about. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, nobody wants to hear wind unless it's the hot wind that's coming out of your mouth, mate. That's the only way we want to hear wind, okay? But this actually sounds okay, mate. So thank you for taking the time to place yourself in a position like a normal person would in order to undertake a podcast, mate. Nice one.
Mate, hot wind, mate. You sound a bit hot under the collar, mate. Make sure you don't.
Why is that then?
Make sure you don't back the wrong way, mate.
What the hell does that mean?
That means I bat for a team that I know about. Hopefully you don't bat for the wrong one. You know what I'm saying?
Who's to say what's wrong and right, Henry?
I don't know.
What you're talking about here, mate. You shit start to the show, Hen. You've had a mare. Anyway, no. Look, I think you're just a little bit feeling very, very lucky about what happened at the weekend with the Spurs-Man City game. Because let's face it, Spurs were shite at the weekend, mate. Okay, we're going to get on to United. Let's have your say in a minute. But let's be honest now, Man City deserved to win that game. Spurs were second best. It was only VAR coming to your rescue once again that stopped you from losing that game.
Disagree, mate. Disagree. Absolutely fundamentally disagree.
Wow. How do you disagree? You think you should have won that game, or you should have got a point from that game? You deserved the point from that game.
Definitely deserves the point.
VAR.
Definitely deserves the point. Of course it did, mate. The result speaks for itself. It was 2-2. Yes, they had countless shots. Yes, they had 30 shots to our 3 shots. Doesn't matter. We put 2 of ours away. They put 2 of theirs away. It means that they're shit at putting their fucking goals in, mate, or their shots in where they should be putting them in, mate. City have only got themselves to blame. VAR.
But Gabriel Jesus did put one away.
We'll talk about VAR later on, mate. But bottom line, VAR, whether you like it or not, for me, the only thing that is dislikable about it is the fact that it makes everybody think a goal's gone in, and then you look at the VAR. Fundamentally, it's not a goal, so it gets chalked off. That is the current rules, whether you like it or not. But bottom line, it wasn't a goal. If the ref had Superman fucking vision, and he'd seen that it hit the arm of Laporte, was it? Or whoever was in the box at the time there. Then he would have said no goal because it was a handball according to the current refereeing rules of the Premier League. Simple as that. So, of course,
very true. But what an unbelievably
mean,
shite rule that is. Because it's an unbelievably shite rule that needs changing back, mate.
So we're talking about
it wouldn't have even been seen last year. We are talking about the rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so what?
Because it's a bullshit rule, mate. It was not an intentional handball.
What you're trying to say is the Pig and the Hen have some kind of authority on the rules of the game now, do we?
I think that we do, actually, as fans, mate. Even we can see that it doesn't make any sense. Surely it's got to be an intentional handball. That was such a flash in the pan. There's going to be so many goals ruled out if you allow that sort of thing to be punishable. That's all I'm saying. Like, you're absolutely right. It's not VAR's fault. It sort of is VAR's fault because nobody would have even been looking for that minor infraction if it wasn't for VAR. But the actual rule is the problem. Most people seem to think that it is as well. It doesn't make. You're just going to see a lot less goals given here for silly reasons. It's not a good idea, mate. So basically, okay, technically, the goal was ruled out correctly. But in reality, it's a bullshit decision, mate, because there's nothing Laporte can do about that. It's, what I want to know, Hen, is if it's the other way round, it's not fair, because if it's the other way round and it hits, say, the Spurs defender's arm, are we going then to them go back and look at it for a penalty? If it's just, no, we're not. But so it's not even, mate. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so
why
wouldn't they look back at a penalty? What do you mean? Who's saying that's not going to happen?
Well, if it was gone that quickly, the referee's not going to pull it back for every single incident like that, are they?
Yeah, but it's not about the referee pulling it back. The referee didn't pull that Manchester City goal back at all. He was informed.
But with the VAR,
by,
I don't think the
VAR
basically on match of the day they were saying that it's not fair because the actual difference between the circumstances. So you've got a defensive phase and a attacking phase, and if the same thing happens in the defensive phase, it doesn't get pulled back for the VAR, right? Because nobody noticed it at the time. Nobody was it's only the fact that the ball's gone in the back of the net while they've looked at the VAR. So they wouldn't have looked at the VAR because nobody had an issue with the goal going in the back of the net. If nobody had an issue with it glancing past, say, a Spurs defender's arm, then they're not going to go back and look at it for a penalty. So how is that fair? It's kind of just a bullshit rule that they need to change.
I think you're misinformed though, because bottom line, all I know is the referee on the day there, it wasn't his idea to check on the VAR. He was told. He was told through his fucking earpiece.
Of course you're going to like this new rule, mate, because Spurs benefited from it like they did again.
Let's just forget. If we're going to talk about it now, forget about the teams involved, forget about all of that.
There's no way any football fan could agree that goal should have been disallowed, mate. It was a perfectly legitimate goal. So the rule is bollocks, mate. I know you're trying to say the rule's fine, but the rule's bollocks.
I'm not trying to talk about the rules. I'm not trying to say what should be allowed or disallowed. What I'm trying to do right now is talk about what happened the other day, okay? Bottom line, you had the situation where the goal's been given, it's gone up on the scoreboard, Manchester City celebrating, the whole of the Etihad is on their feet, right? And suddenly, the ref's hearing something through his earpiece because somebody on the sidelines obviously been looking at the footage and saying, no, we need to look at this, So the ref said, this is literally, a minute and a half later, almost 2 minutes later after the goal's gone in. It's been a bit of time here. He said,
I watched it, mate.
Then he signalled it with his hands, and he said, "Okay, right, we're going to look at the screen. Everyone's going to look at the screen right now. It comes through.
I don't have a problem with the VAR though.
I'm just saying how it happened, right?
If it was the other way around, they wouldn't have called it back though to look at the defender's handball. That's what I'm saying. It's not a fair rule.
I'm not talking about that side of things. I'm just talking about what actually happened. What I'm saying is the referee did not say, "I want to check the VAR." Someone on the sidelines has said, let's check the VAR. Referee said, okay, put it up on the screen, and the decision's been made to chalk the goal away. So who's to say that wouldn't happen in the opposing situation where it has hit
because there were no protests. So if there's no protests and there's not a breaking play there, like when
the goal, there was no protest to the Man City goal.
Not from the player. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There was no protest. So why would they look at it? The only reason they looked at it is because the ball's gone in the back of the net and it's a moment in the game that leads to a goal. But if it was the other way around and nobody noticed it or protested it, they wouldn't have looked at it back. That's why I'm saying it's not a fair rule that needs to be changed. But anyway, I think we're dwelling a little bit too much on this rule shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about VAR later. I think needs to be talked about, mate. It does.
Yes, yeah, but I think the rule needs to be changed. Needs to be looked at. Otherwise, you're just going to have loads of incidents like that where a year ago perfectly legitimate goals would be ruled out, and there's actually nothing wrong with these goals. You think Laporte can get his hand out of the way of that? It's bollocks. It needs to be an intentional handball for it to.
So what you're saying is you are actually not happy with the current rules.
I'm not happy with that current rule.
VAR. Forget about VAR. You're not happy with the rule that if the ball hits you anywhere on the arm, then that is essentially a penalty.
Correct.
Or
They've
a
just
foul.
Changed it.
That
so they've just changed it for
okay.
the new season. Yeah, they've just changed it for the new season. There's a couple of things I don't like which they need to get right. Like, for instance, and it doesn't benefit United. Daniel James at the weekend got booked for diving, right? And in certain instances, in certain moments of a game, if you're trying to cheat the opposition and gain an advantage by diving, say in the opposition penalty area or something like that, in my opinion, it shouldn't just be a clear-cut yellow card, which is the maximum limit you can get from diving. So there's a couple of things that they brought in to do with this VAR rules that
but do you know why
they're
they've
trying
done
to use
it?
in conjunction with the VAR. Go on.
It's obvious why these rules have come in. It's to make things more black and white, because you've always had this. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not giving my personal opinion right now. What I'm saying is we've had it years and years where, me, my friends watching a football game, people listening to the Pig and the Hen show right now will all have had those moments where you disagree, and it's like, oh, it wasn't intentional. Oh, he didn't mean to for it to brush the inside of his fucking forearm or whatever the fuck it is. And people are saying, well, he didn't mean to do it, so it shouldn't be a penalty. It should be a penalty. It's a foul. It's not a foul, etc., etc. I've said etc., etc. again. That I've banned myself from saying that. If I say it again, slap me, mate. Slap me if you can. But there's always been disagreement about it. And what's happened now is, especially the fact that VAR has come in for its first full Premier League season now. I think it's been a prerogative to actually make the rules black and white, so it's easier for the referees. It's easier for the match officials.
Okay, that's great.
Simple
that's
as
absolutely
that.
Great, and I totally agree with you, Henry. But the problem is, there's no way. Who can say that Laporte handball is black and white, clear cut? Okay, it's hit him on the ball, on the hand, right? So in that sense, it is.
That's what I mean. Whether I know it seems silly to us, but that's how they've tried to make the rules black and white. Bottom line, the ball's hit him on the hand, whether he wanted it to hit him on the hand or not, or hit him on the forearm or not. It's happened. The rules are in place, and then the rules are then dished out, and that is the football that we're looking at now. So it's more a question of do you like the way that football is being...
opinion. It's still some twat's opinion in a room, or a few twats' opinion in a room.
I disagree
it is.
There.
They're reaching the opinion. The referee doesn't even make the final decision, mate. The people watching the VAR, I think there's 5 people, and they come to the decision, right? So
is it not still up to the referee?
It just takes it away from the referee.
Who was it? Was it Mike
they're trying to do.
I wish I knew who we were talking about now. But whoever the referee was, I can't remember now. Surely it's still his decision. He could say no. I've watched the replay. I'm not happy with it. I'm going to give the goal.
But he doesn't even get to watch the replay, though, right? Some people are watching.
I thought everybody watches it on the screen in the stadium. Is that not what happens?
Mate, I don't think so. I don't think so. That would actually be good, but I don't think that happens. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it just goes to some room somewhere, and then they watch the footage back and they decide what happens. They relay it back to the official team, and then the team officiate makes the decision. But I guess it's strongly based on it's got to be 100% based on what's been told them.
I was under the impression that it went up on the screen. The referee, once he's heard through his earpiece that something's going on, he's given the hand signals, right, we're going to watch it on the screen, then surely it should come up on the screen so everybody can kind of see. But I guess that doesn't
Well, that's
happen.
how it should be. That's how it should be.
Like
that
would
actually make sense. Like in rugby,
like
when it goes over, and when that happens in rugby, and they have to look at a decision whether it's a try or not, everybody watches it. The fans in the stadium, the referee, the player, everybody's watching it live, and then the referee makes a decision on the spot based on watching it back a couple of times. Right? That's how it should be. But they don't. So Mo Wada just comments. By the way, everybody who's tuning in, and thanks for stopping by. I can see there's a super chat here from Gungshi as well, who comments, "This donation is for the hen to buy a cheap torch so we can see his handsome visage more clearly." Thank you very much, Gungshi. Alex Rincon in here. Mark Sin, Buster B. We will obviously get into your comments and interact with you guys very shortly. We're just having a bit of a back and forth. But Mo Wada comments and says they don't show it as it happens.
Right,
so that is annoying. They should.
That
is bullshit.
I don't know why
absolutely show it as it happens.
It's almost like the way that the referee the other day in that game was talking to Hugo Lloris, and Lloris smiled. Yeah. Of course he smiled when the referee was obviously saying something like might not actually be a goal here. Is that's the gist that I gathered. Okay.
Well, it's early days. That's why we don't really know what's going on, because it's the first season in the Premier League that VAR's come in. So nobody really knows from their ass from their elbow at the moment. There's going to be a lot of problems with VAR. There's going to be some problems where the rules are being applied.
Sorry to interrupt you, mate, but I'm so passionate about this that the ball hitting Laporte's hand or arm, whether you like that new ruling or not, that is black and white. You can't say that's an opinion. If it's been seen that the ball has hit the arm and the rule is that is not allowed, then it's not a goal. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely right. Yeah, you're right. The VAR is not the issue. The rule is the issue. That's a piss poor rule, but that is the rule. So that's why that happened. I do understand it, but all I'm saying is VAR's had to come to rescue again because a year or two ago, that just wouldn't even have been looked at. I know it's not a year or two ago, but at the end of the day, Man City should have won that game is what I'm saying, mate.
No,
Spurs
mate, but you say
Mauricio
that.
Pochettino will have
say
left
that,
bloody
but
stadium with the hugest smile on his face
Well, I bet,
because he
mate.
knows he's the
But
luckiest Argentinian.
What annoys me
in
about your
Manchester.
statement there, is you're obviously of the fundamental belief that the old way of football should still be the way it is now. And you feel, even as a Manchester United fan, you're saying that City were cheated the other day. How dare you? How dare you stick up for Pep and the Sky Blues?
That goes to show you, though. Hey, mate, I was absolutely over the moon when it happened, mate. I loved it because two of our rivals are dropping points there. It was great to see the look on Pep Guardiola's little face as well. Dropped 2 points at home. That's a huge. That could be huge in the season for Man
Having
City,
a little
that,
cuddle with
that.
Sergio Aguero. Did you see that?
Oh, that was hilarious. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Tongue action, wasn't there?
Well, they
just
had a little bit of handbags, didn't they? They had a lot of handbags, didn't they? And Sergio Aguero was not happy about being dragged off the pitch for Gabriel Jesus. And he made Pep Guardiola know about it. They had a bit of back and forth on the sidelines. Pep Guardiola basically told him to piss off. Aguero's told him to piss off. And then he's put Jesus on. Jesus has scored. This is the hilarious thing about it because their little rekindling of their relationship that you saw after Gabriel Jesus' goal went in. Sergio Aguero goes right up to Guardiola, gives him a colour, says, "Look, I'm sorry, fair enough. I wasn't doing what you told me to do. Jesus has come on. He scored the goal. We've won the game. Fair play. All hail Pep Guardiola." And then they start cuddling. They start French kissing, only for it to be chalked off with VAR.
Oh, this is it.
That was absolutely quality.
I mean, that was a PR stunt anyway, honestly. I think that was premeditated. Most probably, mate. It's very important for the City fans to believe that there's unity, within the City dressing room. And yeah, I mean, Pep and Aguero probably planned this already, mate. That they were just going to have a fucking man-to-man.
Mate, I think you're taking this old conspiracy theory InfoWars vibe way too seriously. There's no need to overanalyze the public display between Pep Guardiola and Sergio Aguero there. It was natural. It happened in the moment. Okay, they got over it. This wasn't a premeditated thing, mate.
Oh, definitely, mate. Of course it was, mate. They want to win this season again. Do you know what I mean? What better than to make all the fans believe and see that everything's okay within the Man City camp, to make all rival clubs see, oh fuck, they're all okay. The media will get off their backs. Of course it's fucking public, a fucking public showing, mate. What are you on about?
I think Aguero's just realised that Pep made the right decision to take him off, put Jesus on because he scored, and then he's gone, fair enough, Pep, like, we won the game. If I don't go and admit that you were right, I'm an absolute dick because the team's more important than my stupid blonde light bulb head.
Nah, bullshit, mate. Do you know how much money's involved in this, mate? You know what I mean? There's more to it than that, mate. It's not as simple as just that.
Sergio Aguero hasn't got an earpiece in from his PR department, mate.
You to think.
They haven't got an earpiece in from the PR department. Aguero doesn't anyway. So I don't know what, either that or he's the golden boy of Man City. He just knows what to do at the right time. I think he just wanted to do that to say to Pep, look, we're not going to go in the dressing room. There's going to be no issues. You've won the game. You made the right decision in the end there. I was a prick with my knee-jerk reaction after you took me off the pitch. And I apologise, Pep. All hail King Pep.
But
do you know
why
what I mean?
do
That's
it
what Sergio
publicly?
Aguero's done.
Do you know what I mean? Get a room. You know what I'm saying?
Because he just wanted to say to him, look, Pep, I think everybody has got a good relationship with Guardiola at Man City, from the outside looking in anyway. And I think that's another example of that. They had a bit of a bust up, but guess what? They're man enough to admit who was wrong, admit who was right, and move on. But what I liked about it, as I said a minute ago, is the fact that Spurs managed to get the draw in the end and the VAR was ruled out. That's what made that whole thing amazing. The City fans are cheering there, absolutely ecstatic. They've just got a last gasp against
Jesus
Spurs
has got
at
his
home.
little Jesus dance and that, you know what I mean?
That's it. He's doing it all. He's absolutely loving it, only for it to be chalked off. It was poetry, mate. Like, that is the one situation for me where I quite like VAR, like making bad decisions, in my opinion, because it screwed City over. It was the other way around, though.
It's not for the first time. I mean, this happened in the Champions League, if you remember,
Yeah.
where there was an offside ruling, which was a critical decision. It's just the second time that VAR is pissed all over City's desires for the game against Tottenham Hotspur in important games.
I can't remember what happened in the last one now, though. Was it what sort of situation was that? Can you remember? It was
Just
a
an
while ago
offside,
now.
mate. They score the goal.
Right.
We kind
And
of
was it offside?
at the time. We're thinking, yeah, it was offside by a fucking armpit hair. But end of the day, if it's an armpit hair, it's fucking offside, mate. Black and white ruling. That's what I'm saying, mate. The reason they brought in this new ruling is because they know they've got VAR now. So there's no more of whether you like it or not, they've got rid of this idea of it's the referee's discretion. Was it intentional? Was it not? There's no more intentional or non-intentional. If you noticed, all the rulings
It's still
now,
people's decisions, though.
No, but
Like,
it's not, but it's
let me
kind
talk
of
about
not,
the
mate.
offside in the Man
Kind of
United
not,
game.
mate.
So, for Wolves' goal, there was a pass where, at the time, I didn't think it looked offside at all, it was given as a legitimate goal, Ruben Neves' goal. But there was a pass in it, and they paused it to see if it was offside, and VAR's checked it out, right? And they put the line across the pitch, just a hairline, all the way across the pitch, so you can see. And from that line, it looked like he's offside, but they still gave it. So I don't really understand. It's still just some twats' decisions, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't actually help that much. Fair enough if it was black and white, but with an offside, it's not black and white because it's all about body positioning, the ball positioning at the right moment. If you let the footage roll on just one tiny little millisecond, the positioning can be totally different. So it's the exact moment of impact's got to be spot on. And then
But was
the
it
positioning of the
definitely
players'
offside? What
armpits,
you're
their body
saying,
positions.
I didn't read or hear anything about a possible offside.
Well, no, it wasn't
about
definitely
United
offside.
game.
It looked onside to me. I would have given it if they'd have just shown a replay without the lines
But this just
without the
comes
line
down
on the
to
pitch.
you looking at it. I mean, if you actually heard any commentator or any broadcaster or anyone say that there was
I
an
don't need
offside.
to, mate. I don't need to. I'm just this is me reaching my own opinion.
Yeah,
right,
so
from it.
your
So
eyes are fucked
what
then, aren't they?
No,
'Cause
what I'm saying
otherwise
is it
there would
looked
have been an
onside.
uproar, mate. There would have been an uproar if
But it
there
looked
was an
onside.
offside in that
The
game,
line
mate. You're
they
just
put on the
bitter, mate,
pitch,
'cause
the
United
replay
didn't
showed
beat
that.
Wolves, mate. Especially after
I'm not bitter we didn't
your
beat
rap
Wolves, mate.
music, mate. You know what I mean? Didn't help, did it?
You should absolutely be bitter about only getting a point against City
Mate,
due to
what do you
VAR.
mean
though, mate.
only getting a
Spurs
point?
are
We got
shite,
a
mate. Come on,
point
you're giving it the big
against
one now. I'm
Manchester
sorry, but
City,
okay, we dropped a
the
couple
Premier
of
League
points against Wolves there. You can
champions
talk
last
over me if you
season,
want, mate, but
the
no, it's not going
best
to benefit
team
you.
in the Premier
Oh yeah,
League,
just keep
and
talking
we got
over
a
me then,
point
prick. That's fine.
at the
Go for
Etihad,
it.
mate.
This makes
Of
good
course I'm
viewing, doesn't
happy.
it? This makes good viewing. You just talk over me, you absolute cunt. Anyway, my bad. Fair enough. We both dropped points
Was
at the
that an
weekend, mate. We
apology,
can
was
go
it?
back and forth. Well, no, it wasn't, but we can go back and forth, mate, about Spurs and Man United. We both dropped points. Okay, maybe away at City, it's a more respectable place to drop points, but we all know the only reason that is because of VAR last season when it happened. Spurs got dominated. City looked much the better side. They were lucky to take their few chances that they created. Pochettino's the happiest man ever right now because he managed to get a point. Just somehow he basically won the lottery in that game. That's how shite Spurs were. Man United, on the other hand,
Shut
first
up,
half,
mate.
it's a game
Shut
of
your
two
mouth,
hands.
mate. You're talking absolute fucking pig shite, mate. Which, to be fair, you are the pig. So shite must come out of your mouth. Pig shite for that fact. Right? Fact of the matter. But bottom line, I want to see any other team go to the Etihad this season and see how they get on. We got a point. We scored 2 goals. You can't, regardless of how you look at it, we scored 2 goals. Okay? Yes, we were on the back foot. Yes, they were all over us. We're away against the best team in the Premier League right now, and we came away with a point. Wait for United. Wait for Solskjaer's Manchester United. You go to the Etihad. You see what result you get, and then we'll talk about the pick of the head. All right?
Well, let's see. I look forward to that day. I more look forward to Manchester United playing Spurs this season, mate, and shutting up that freaking cake hole of yours.
Mate. Let's just let it happen right now, mate. Let it happen. It's a good job that we're not sat next to each other on that bloody sofa anymore, mate. Because it's getting serious this season, mate. You'd be getting my spit on your face, mate. The amount
Not
that
only
I'm
that,
shouting, mate.
I'd be getting the halitosis too,
Yeah,
mate,
you
so I'm
get
glad
the
that we're 4,000
halitosis,
miles
mate.
away.
I would not brush my teeth for a month, mate, just to sit next to you for United Spurs so you could smell that bad breath, you cunt.
Oh, mate, that just brought back horrible memories of, Carabelle and ginger. Carabelle and ginger smell, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds much nicer than what I've actually got in store for you, you prick.
No, I'm just joking around, mate. Look, mate, fair enough. Like, it's not a bad result on paper, is it? Fair enough. But you were lucky. That's all I'm saying. Spurs were lucky, man. Just admit that. Admit that Spurs were the second best team in that game and that you were lucky to get the point. If you admit that, we can move on, mate. But until you admit that, I'm not just going to let you say that Spurs were absolutely fantastic. They were shit, mate.
I'm not saying we were fantastic. Did I say that?
Well, you said, you took your chances. You went away to Man City, the best team in the league, and you played great, and you got a point.
We scored two
we
out
all
of
know
3
you were
shots,
lucky to do
right?
that.
That shows the
Exactly.
skill of the players when it comes to their striking. It shows the skill, mate. Sometimes I play a game of FIFA. I might play against a good player, and I might only have a few shots, but I put them away. And you know what? When I put them away, it's
Who
because
do you put away,
it's because I know how to play the fucking game, right? As do the Tottenham
No, I know
players
you're
in those
talking shite, mate.
situations, right? Eric Lamela put his goal away brilliantly. Okay. Who scored the other one? That's the thing. You got me so riled up now, mate. I can't even remember who scored the other one, mate.
Voodoo Chili says 3 shots to 30. I mean, fair enough. I know what you're saying, but come on, City were just so unlucky not to win that game, mate. Like Spurs, okay, you held on, you did what you had to do,
mate.
but you were lucky, mate. You were lucky,
mate. You know, it is what it is, mate. It is what it is.
You were basically Chelsea against Barcelona in that semi-final.
You know what
when
this
they
is,
won
mate?
it.
We've ended up talking about Tottenham City. We've been talking about VAR because you want to take the emphasis off how shit Manchester United were against Wolverhampton Wanderers, especially in that second half, mate. And do you know what? Please check out the Pig of the Hen Fantasy Football League. Right, I'm kind of up there in the top 5 or something or other. I'm not doing too bad. I've got Moutinho, I've got Neves, mate. What was it? That Neves goal that you, for some silly reason, you think is somehow offside, although I've heard no one else talk about that at all. It was
I said it didn't look off. Didn't look offside to the naked eye.
Neves puts it in, probably the Premier League goal of the month, actually, from Neves. In some respects, a beautiful goal, beautiful finish, and they deserved it, mate. You know, I watched that game, and it was like, yeah, you looked all right in the first half. You got your goal. Who was it? Martial again.
We looked fucking good in the first half,
again.
mate.
Everybody thinking the old Manchester United days are coming back with this brand new class 92. Bullshit, mate. Bollocks. You know what I mean? That second half, mate, you looked like children out there against a proper Wolves team, all in blazing orange, mate. And I tell you what, you know, they were a firing squad against you in that second half. They were, mate.
Yeah, whatever, mate. I mean, they were all right, to be fair. They defended really well. They organised really well. They're a good team. But listen, United, let's not forget the fact that Pogba bottled that penalty. If he had scored that we would have won the game anyway. If Lingard had stuck that absolute sitter away, we would have won the game anyway. If Martial had stuck that sitter away before halftime, it's about individuals making errors at key moments. That's what it was. In terms of actual play, we still probably did enough to beat Wolves, but we just didn't cap off the moments. And I know it's easy to say that, like City didn't against Spurs. But you're right. I mean, first half performance was good. Second half performance was shite. Okay, it was. Wolves looked better in the second half, in my opinion. But still, I still think we did enough to win that game, mate. We were just unlucky that
another massive
Pogba at that moment bottled it.
Another massive point there. He bottled it. But do you know whose fault it was?
Are you going to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Yes, I am fucking going to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If you not already had a penalty this season.
Yeah, Rashford put it away.
Yeah, and he put it away, didn't he?
Yeah, but he also won the penalty. So who's to say what the roles are?
You're not supposed to have a penalty taker. A top side has a penalty taker. Does Manchester United not have a penalty taker? Obviously not. Solskjaer just says, "Oh well, whoever gets fouled, whoever makes the well."
Paul Pogba was our penalty taker last season.
Paul Pogba was playing when Rashford took his penalty last week, and he put it away. Did he not?
I think what Solskjaer said after the game is that Rashford and Pogba are the penalty takers. So we've got 2.
Oh, so you got 2. Okay. Yeah. Well, that sounds.
So maybe you should get your fucking facts right.
Me, that sounds pretty ambiguous. Pretty. You know,
not really. You've got a goal scorer
to me, mate. Especially when the referees are getting black and white. I think it's time for Manchester United's manager to get black and white when it comes to the penalty takers, mate.
Do you know
I'm
what?
not, I'm
Do you know
not,
what?
you know
Hen?
what, mate?
No,
I don't care about
I can't
Manchester
disagree
United,
with you,
but
mate.
I think it's fucking bullshit, actually. I do.
I can't disagree with you, mate. Rashford should have taken that penalty based
Oh,
on the
wow,
fact
so
he
you
took it
agree
last
with
week.
me? You're
Based
agreeing
on,
with
yeah,
me?
well, I do actually agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate just to get a reaction out of you because it's funny, mate. Because look at your blood boiling over there.
I
It's
am,
talking
mate.
about bloody
I am,
penalty
mate.
taking for
United's my
United.
second team,
It's not
mate, these
Spurs.
days, mate,
It's not
because
Spurs losing in
I
the
do the
Champions
pick of the
League
heads
final.
show, mate.
Calm down. There's no need to get so riled up. Okay, we're talking about Pogba or Rashford taking the penalty. This ain't the Champions League final, mate. Calm down, okay? But listen. Now,
I don't know why I'm
Spurs-
so into this at the moment, mate, but, I can't help but gain an interest, because I know it matters to you, mate. I think it comes down to my love of the pig, mate.
I hear
know
you,
it
mate.
matters
I think it's
to you,
ego
mate.
from Paul Pogba. I mean, I know Solskjaer said that, but who actually knows? Like, I think it's perhaps a little bit of ego from Paul Pogba there. He's fair enough. He's won the penalty with a great bit of play. Maybe he wants to bang it in the back of the net and have that moment. It would have been great for him. If he'd have put it in the back of the net, we'd have all been talking about this game in a completely different way. But he didn't. He did step up, and it wasn't the best of penalties, and it was saved. In hindsight, how easy is it, though? How easy is it to say Ollie got it wrong? How easy is it to say Rashford should have taken it? What if Rashford took it? What if Pogba gave it to Rashford and Rashford spoons it over the bar? It could have happened then. Then everyone would have been saying, oh, Pogba should have just had the cojones to take that penalty then. That's what people would have said. You can't please people, mate. And yourself included.
No, you're wrong, mate. Because nobody would have been blaming the players. Nobody should be blaming the players. We should not be in that footballing world right now where Twitter, where the fans, the mainstream media all start blaming players. It should all come down to the manager, mate. Simple as that. Ollie should be the one there, but even before the season started, if he wants to, should actually be telling everybody, this is my penalty taker. Yeah, I believe in Rashford. He's going to be taking the penalties. Of course, fair enough if he misses loads, which I don't think is going to happen because he's very good at them. But if he misses a few, then we might have to review it. But as far as you're concerned, Marcus Rashford has taken the penalties for Manchester United. Do you know what I like about that? Do you know what I like about that kind of sound? That kind of vocals from a manager? It makes me think, yeah, this guy's got belief. This guy has got discipline. And that's what you need at Manchester United right now, more than ever.
You make some good points, mate. Yeah, I mean, if it was me managing the side, I'd have said, give it to Rashford because he scored last season. We want him to get a lot of goals. I want Pogba to be the creator this season. I don't want him to get 10, 15 goals that are penalties this season from midfield. We need somebody up there in the goals department. Give it to Martial, give it to Rashford. It's all good for confidence. We want our goal scorers scoring goals. So I would have actually done the same thing, and I'd have made Rashford the penalty taker this season. But I think Ole Gunnar's just gone a different way. He said, look, depending on the situation, whatever, Paul Pogba's a big character in this squad, and maybe Ole Gunnar's just hiding the fact that Rashford is the penalty taker and Paul Pogba's ego was the thing that made him take the penalty. Or maybe I'm just talking bollocks and it's nothing to do with Pogba's ego. That's just the way it is. Or maybe there's an instruction
So what
out
you're
there for
saying
whoever
is-
wins the penalty can take the penalty.
So what you're saying is there's a possibility that Rashford was supposed to take it, but Pogba just
I think
took
there's a
it and
possibility,
nobody
but
said
I'm
anything?
not going to...
Nobody
Yeah,
said
I'm not
anything.
gonna say
Well, if
that.
that's the case, then Solskjaer's a fucking pussy, right? If
I'm not
that's
going to
the
say
case,
that about Paul Pogba.
or
though,
did
because I
Pogba
don't
get
know
the
if that's true.
hairdryer treatment in the dressing room, Sir Alex Ferguson style? Doubt it.
Well, that's it. I'm not going to say that it's true. I don't know what's happened, so we can speculate about it, but really we don't actually know what the plan was. We don't know who the penalty taker actually is. We're just going on what was said after the game. And also, we don't know if there was an alteration made during the game because Pogba actually won the penalty and he wanted to take it. That does happen. We've seen footballers, there's loads of egos in football. We've seen footballers fighting over the penalty before. Frank Lampard springs to mind.
You do
One
see it. You
incident.
do see it. Of course
you see it
do.
all the time.
Of course
yeah, I mean,
you do.
But I'm not saying that happened, but all I'm saying is Pogba's a more senior member of the squad. He won the penalty. Maybe he's just made an in-game decision to take the penalty. And Rashford's not going to take that away from him. I don't know.
All I'm saying, this comes from my personal opinion, from my feeling, from what I've
You
seen.
just think it's weak
looking
from Ollie,
at Solskjaer on the sidelines, looking at Ollie, looking at your players there, and what he has got right. And I'm going to praise Ollie here. What he's got right is I think he's more in touch with what the players are about. He was a great player, a legend for United not so long ago, and I think he's still kind of there. He's like one of the guys, which is great. Which is great in its own respect because everybody thinks, yeah, Ollie knows what we're about. He's not some old fucking cunt that's like a million years away from what football is today. He's kind of there or thereabouts. He knows the club. He's been here at United. He learnt from arguably the best football manager of all time, and he gets their respect in that way. But in another way, he kind of reminds me of that guy he's almost like, yeah, Ollie's he's just a mate, He loves us all. He's just a softie, But at the same time, you could get away with fucking his missus or something. And he probably just wouldn't be happy with it, but he'd just let you get on with things, And I know that's a horrific.
What the fuck are you talking
that's
about,
a horrific example. Okay, I'm just using that as an analogy, but I think the listeners out there to the Pig of the Head show will get my drift. It's kind of like he's not the guy that if you fuck his missus, he's gonna kill you. He's the kind of guy where actually you could probably talk it out and things would be okay. And that is the impression I get from Ollie. You love him. You almost like him so much that you actually end up spending time with him and his family and stuff, and you end up fucking his missus.
Dude. I don't know how you've got onto this, but listen, I'm going to say in some ways I agree. Not the whole wife fucking analogy. I don't agree with any of that. But I do agree with the fact that maybe there are some sort of soft decisions by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that have been shown. And it's all about keeping the team spirit together and all that. But you still got to be hard and stern as a manager. Look at Sir Alex Ferguson, right? Hairdryer treatment. You said it yourself. Nobody fucked with Sir Alex Ferguson. His final word was final. Now, what I would say about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well is he made a few weak decisions throughout that game. He's waited until the 80th minute to bring Jesse Lingard off the pitch for Juan Mata, which, from an early point of view, I said it during my live stream, from earlier on, you could see Lingard wasn't being effective. We needed somebody who's got a bit more intelligence, maybe can unlock Wolves' defence like Juan Mata on there. We could all see it. Lingard just wasn't performing. Fair enough if you think he's going to come good, but he'd had moments in the game and he was just absolutely useless throughout. So he didn't wait to take Lingard off until the 80th minute and brought Mata on, and that's when we made our first substitution. And then he brings Greenwood and who else was it on? Somebody at the end there, Pereira at the end there for the last 3 minutes of the game. It's like, I just didn't understand that in-game management from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't want to get on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because I think he's done a good job and he will continue to do a good job and maybe he can surprise a few people. But I must say his in-game management for the Wolves game was quite poor. It was, and I've not said that really before about Ole because I've been quite impressed with what he's done. But it was too little too late in the game. We can see the problems, let's change the problems, but he waited until right at the end of the game where there was just not enough time for us to really change the style of play that we were trying to do. And yeah, I just think you're right in some ways. He needs to be more firm. He needs to make decisions. He needs to take a page out of Sir Alex Ferguson's book a little bit. Nobody can be that man. He's a different personality, like you say. I sort of see what you're saying. He's a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? Somebody you can shag his missus or whatever. I get that. But I think maybe he's not going to have too much. I think it's more appropriate to say he'd probably sit in the corner and just tell knock-knock jokes. Well, you did that, mate. Rather than you doing it behind his back and him being cool with it. I don't think he'd be cool with that, mate.
I just have to apologise about, I'm sure Ollie's married and I'm sure they don't listen to the Pick of the Head show. But I'm sorry. It's a bit of an obscene thing to talk about. But you can't help but just kind of see the analogy there. I mean, I don't see anybody getting on Jose Mourinho's misses, mate, in the United dressing room. That's just not going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen, mate. You'd be killed, mate. You would be killed. Same with Fergie's. I mean, probably no one wants to get on Fergie's, but you'd get killed, right? But Solskjaer, he's kind of one of the lads, isn't he? It's good job Ryan Giggs ain't around anymore, isn't it?
Crikey, let's hope he doesn't bump into...
Where is Giggsy now? Let's talk about...
He's manager of Wales, isn't he?
Is he still doing that, is he? How's he getting on, all right?
Yeah, I think he's doing all right, mate. But yeah, let's hope Ole Gunnar doesn't bump into Alan Pardew at some LMA manager meeting either.
Alan Pardew, you mean?
That's what I said, Alan Pardew,
Adam.
Mate. No, I fucking didn't. Sort your ears out,
mate. You said
sort your freaking ears out,
mate.
I said Alan Pardew, you melter. Listen to it back later and send me an apology.
We will listen to this. Live chatting right now if Pig misspoke, mate. It's not, the first time,
I don't know if we can trust those people.
Not the first time, mate.
I don't know if we can trust these people, mate. Fair play. Well, yeah, I think we'll both agree, though, Hen. Like, we didn't win at the weekend, but it could have been worse. Like, I know in my post-match reaction, I was at the time, I was very, very annoyed with the result, and the second half performance more important. It's not really the result. The result was actually not the worst result. If we'd have sort of continued as we did in that first half, but just couldn't find the back of the net, and we didn't get exposed at the back, and even our £80 million signing didn't make a couple of errors, and there were some problems that were displayed for United in the second half, which I just didn't like, and I was kind of disgusted with. A lot of it was in the midfield. We've got problems in the midfield. It just highlighted the fact we didn't strengthen in the summer as we should have done, which is something Spurs did do. But fair play, Spurs are in a good situation. United, we're gonna have to accept the fact that we're just not right up there. We're not that team that can just steamroll the likes of Wolves and expect to do that when they finish one place below us and are probably a better team than us this year.
I'll tell you why.
In terms of a team.
I'm not a United fan. Obviously you're my friend, but am I like a follower of Flying Pig United as a channel? I mean, I am because you're my friend, but not as a Manchester United fan. But you know what? If I was a Manchester United fan, one of your subscribers out there listening to you right now, backtracking like that after the positive, for me, because I listened to your match reaction and you were spot on, mate. Rio Ferdinand saying that was a good point, well earned.
Oh, 100% agree with that.
Absolute bullshit, right? And I'm hoping that you still have the same feelings that Ferdinand coming out with BS like that, mate. You know,
I didn't agree with that. No,
I respect him as a person, but I don't understand why he's saying that. Manchester United have spent shitloads of money. You have not finished below Wolves last season, or the season before, or the season before that, or any fucking season ever, right? And you get a point against them, and suddenly that's a good point, mate.
That seems to be the fan reaction in general. But no, I wasn't happy with the point, mate. But what I was saying in my statement a minute ago, before you so very rudely interrupted, was that the result is not actually the thing that I was pissed off about. It was the performance. So the fact that Rio said that about the point, from one respect, I understand what he's saying. But from the other respect of the actual performance, it was nowhere near good enough. And Manchester United should not accept that level of performance shown in the second half. Now, the results show we shouldn't accept that either. But in another way, they finished 7th, we finished 6th. We've got to accept that we're not going to win every single game. We lost 2 games against Wolves last season. They're kind of our bogey team. We went to the Molineux away game. We got a point. It's a shit result. But at the same time, you can't win every single game when you're a team like Manchester United that's in transition and has a lot of improving to do. We're not going to win every game. We've got Crystal Palace coming up. Let's say we beat them. 7 points from the first line. It's not terrible. But United fans and Rio and we shouldn't be happy with mediocrity, man. I completely stick by what I said in that video in that sense. I do think that in hindsight, with a bit of time and cool off, we didn't lose. We've still got a relatively easy game against Palace to get 7 points out of 9, which for a team that was struggling so much like last season is not absolutely terrible. But again, piss poor result, piss poor performance.
Piss poor, mate. And the worrying thing is, I mean, it would have been fine. Do you know what? It would have been fine if Ollie had actually made those changes when he should have done, when he saw that things weren't working for United, made them changes. It still didn't happen. It finished 1-1, but you had a couple of chances at the end, but a couple more than what you did. Fair enough. But this is what worries me, is that you're sat there on the second game of the season saying that Ollie's got it wrong. You've drawn against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Okay, decent enough side, but surely you should expect better. And you're accepting the fact that Rio thinks that's okay. I mean, you're not, but...
Well, he knows a lot more about football. He knows a lot more about Manchester United than both of us do. He's trying to be positive. I get it. It's not the spin I put on it because I just call it how I see it. And how I saw it was a shit performance. Forget about the result. The result is not important. Some games you batter the opposition, but you can't get the breakthrough for whatever reason.
But that wasn't the case. I mean, that was
no, it wasn't the case. But I'm saying forget the result. I'm saying forget the result. Look at the performance. The performance was nowhere near good enough. The performance was nowhere near good enough, mate. That's my problem. That's why Rio shouldn't have been happy. That's why United fans shouldn't be happy with that result, because the performance second half was just not good enough. We couldn't create anything. The midfield was being bypassed. It was being run over. You know, people like Moutinho at the age that he is, good player, bossing it. You know, the fact that we allowed that goal to happen as well pisses me off more than anything, because it was an easy free kick routine corner. They basically put it in, put it back out wide, and then nobody has got the foresight to think, oh, who's this twat just in an acre of space on the edge of the area? Nobody goes and marks the man, which I've got a big problem with. And then when the ball does come into him, which is a very good ball into him at the edge of the area, the red shirts are too late to react and close it down, and they flap it. Now that is just a piss poor goal to concede. I don't care if you're playing Wolves, I don't care if you're playing freaking Inter Yanan. It was an absolutely poor game, poor goal to concede, and that was just from poor defending. So what does that show you? It shows you that United have still got problems at the back there, even though we spent £80 million on Maguire, £50 million on Bissaka. So there shouldn't really be any excuse for that sort of a poor setup to deal with that moment of play. It was a great finish. The finish was majestic. But in order for him to get that finish off, he needed to be in an acre of space. It was the most terrible defending I've ever seen. Nobody's picking up the man, and nobody reacts quick enough in order to close it down. So that's a big problem, mate. I think we've just got problems at Manchester United in the team, the performance we need. We've got work to do. Ole Gunnar's going to have to do it. But look, I'm not going to get on Ole Gunnar. Sorry, Henry. I know you want me to bash out Ole Gunnar. I just said his in-game management and substitutions were a bit poor. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with what the lad's doing, right? The team looks more like a team now. Forget that second half against Wolves. It was shite. We've had a great pre-season, and the game against Chelsea was fantastic. If you'd have said to get 4 points out of 6 from those two games, you'd have probably been reasonably happy right before the end of the season. Would you agree with that? Before the season started?
Well,
I think United right now, we have to be real. We are not the Manchester United of old. We're not Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United. We are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United. We've got a lot in common with Frank Lampard's Chelsea. They're a team in transition. They've got a lot of rebuilding to do. They've got to put faith in young players to bring on. They're not going to be the 99 Manchester United team overnight.
What concerns me is you, and usually you're pretty Mr. Positive in general. And even you said before I said anything that you were not happy with Solskjaer's tactical nous in the second half there, and you're basically admitting that mistakes were made on the management side of things. So
he's got a lot to learn. He's not infallible, mate. He's not the ghost of Matt Busby. He's Ole Gunnar.
Kidding me, mate? Are
he's
you
got to
kidding
learn.
me? What do you mean got to learn?
Oh, it's easy to say that with your freaking little Pochettino twat in charge at Spurs, isn't it?
Never managed a side in your life, right? Of course you haven't, nor have I. But at the same time, you're saying
speak for yourself,
you're
mate.
saying.
Speak for yourself. I got freaking Bournemouth to the Champions
League final.
You got your badges.
You got your badges, haven't you, mate? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Football manager doesn't lie, mate. All you need to do is look at the CV.
Well, there we go, mate. But what I'm saying is, bottom line, you were criticising him for his coaching decisions, his management decisions in that game. So
not his coaching decisions, I wasn't. Not his coaching decisions, just his in-game substitutions.
Well,
I liked the setup of the team.
Right.
Yeah, just his substitutions. That's a small criticism, mate. Really, he made them too late. I don't have a problem with the substitutions.
Isn't that's kind of the be-all and end-all, though? In a way, for me, you know, that's the most important. You need someone at the helm that is making the right decisions.
But that's just my opinion, though. Ole Gunnar knows the team.
Okay, look.
He's the manager. He's got to make the decision.
Look at Pochettino, right? We're getting peppered. They had 30 shots. We had 3. Who scored our second goal? It was Lucas Moura with the header. It's coming back to me now. And
he's just come on the pitch, the jammy bastard.
Exactly, mate. You said it before I did. Just come on, mate.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Super sub. Poch knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. And it's not just that game, mate. It's game after game after game. Tottenham are a strong side now. Whether we play shit, whether we play good, mate, we're getting the results. We're a fucking good side. Substantially so. That's what I'm getting at, mate.
I just can't wait for the days. I cannot wait for the days which come by in a couple of years' time when Spurs still haven't won a bloody major trophy, where they go back to being a shite team. That's all I'm saying. I just cannot wait for that moment, because you, Henry, you've become almost insufferable recently with Spurs being good, man. Do you know what I mean? Like United, okay, we're in a team of transition, but you keep giving it the big, and just because Spurs are doing okay, you still haven't won anything. That's the hilarious thing. Look at the last 10 years. United absolutely trounced Spurs for achievements. And you can't look at history. Of course you can look at history, because it fucking happened, mate. That's why it's history. So United are way more successful than Spurs. They'll probably, you know, like Gary Neville said, I think Manchester United even now will actually win the Premier League before Liverpool do. Well, I'm saying the same goddamn thing about Spurs right now, mate. I think United will win the Premier League before Spurs. You keep giving it a big one about how good Spurs are these days. Fair enough, right now they're in a good run of form. Can't wait till Pochettino goes back and goes over and manages in Spain, by the way, and then you'll be left with some absolute shithouse probably, and takes Harry Kane with him. That'll be absolutely hilarious. So just enjoy it is what I'm saying. Fair enough, I see what you're saying. You're milking it for what it is. You're giving it the big, and you're trying to pretend like Spurs is a better club than Manchester United, which is, that you're entitled to your opinion. Enjoy it, mate. Milk every little bit of ounce you can get out of it, buddy, because Manchester United will be back in a couple of years, I'm sure. Right now is a transition. Spurs are on and up, but guess what? The up isn't still, it's not high enough for them to win anything. So just enjoy it while you can anyway.
I don't need to say anything, mate. You know, anyone that's just heard what the pig has said, rewind about 5 minutes or however long it was for that fucking little bullshit rant, mate, and listen to the sincerity of his voice, because it is lacking. It is seriously lacking.
Well, you can say that, but you're talking rubbish, mate. I'm being passionate here, mate. It's true. Spurs, what? Oh, yeah, it's bullshit, load of bullshit. What have Spurs, what major trophies have Spurs won in the last 10 years? It is opinionated shite. That's my opinion. That's all this show is, mate. That's all that comes out of your mouth. Mate, no.
Mate, no. What did I say before you started this little mini rant of yours? I said Pochettino made the right substitution. Lucas Moura comes on and he scores within 30 seconds. And he made the right tactical decision at the time. And we were talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer making the wrong decisions, not making the decisions.
And we finished talking about that, and I got onto the fact that you need to start enjoying this moment of Spurs.
And then all you did, I wasn't saying Tottenham are the greatest team of all time. We're going to win the Premier League before Manchester United.
You were saying, Pochettino made the right decision.
Then you turned it into a little mini rant against Tottenham. It just goes to show your insecurities about your club right now. That's all I'm saying, mate. You are so worried that Tottenham are better than you. You hate the idea, mate.
I hate the idea. It is a problem, mate. There is a certain arrogance that comes from being a Manchester United supporter. There's that old Manchester United saying, which is not arrogant, just better. And that basically sums up the United mentality. And that's how it fucking should be, Henry. You can say that that's a bad thing. I don't want Manchester United to be down in sixth place. I think we should absolutely be up there challenging. We will be as well, because we're such a huge club. We may have these absolute leeches at the top, but other than that, the fan base is the best in the world. We have got a decent team which is getting better. We've got young players. I think we'll get back there in a couple of years. I do genuinely think, just to bring that point up again, that United will win the league before Spurs do. So fair enough. That's my opinion. Spurs actually are a better team right now, but they're only a 4.5-star team, mate, aren't they? If we were playing FIFA, you're going back to FIFA. They ain't a 5-star. Yeah. I don't want to know about that, mate.
Spend a bit of super chat money on the latest FIFA, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean that's a fair purchase, mate. It lets you know who the current players
individuals,
are, the current teams, mate. FIFA 20 coming out soon, mate. But you know what? You obviously don't have FIFA 19. Do you even have a PS4 or an Xbox One right now? Because
I've got an Xbox One and FIFA 19.
And if you had FIFA 19, you would know Tottenham Hotspur are now a 5-star team. Talk about stars, cunt. All right? Simple as that, prick.
Do you know why that is? It's because the individual sum of your parts equals 5 stars. Fair enough. That's what I'm saying. Like they've got a good team right now. But all I'm saying is, will that team actually be a proper, in reality, not outside of FIFA, then 5-star team?
What do you mean in reality, mate? We got to Champions League.
Will they ever be a Real Madrid? Will they ever be a Barcelona? Yeah, and you didn't win it.
You didn't win it. Liverpool didn't win it the season before, and then they won it the next season, mate. What are you on about, mate? If you get to Champions League finals, mate, you must be half decent, mate. You know what I mean?
Arsenal got to a Champions League final, bottled it against Barcelona, and have never been seen from again. So we can all pick up out examples, buddy. But the fact is, the chances of Spurs getting far in the Champions League again next year is lower than it was this last year. The chance of them winning the Premier League title this year
is lower.
Lower
Why
than
is
it was
lower
this
than
last year.
That's bullshit.
Because that was just a freak run.
What you just said is absolute bullshit, mate. Pig shite, mate. Flying pig shit, mate.
In that run.
Flying pig shit, mate. Because bottom line, last season we had exactly the same team as we do now, and we've made additions, mate. We made some brilliant transfers, mate. So how can you say, mate? How can you say that we've got less chance of getting to the Champions League final than we did at the beginning of last season, mate? You're talking out of your pig arse, mate.
No. Because go and look at the odds. All I'm saying is, I think that Spurs, they won't be one of the favourites to win the Champions League. There'll be loads of teams that are above. Man City will be above Spurs to win the Champions League odds-wise this season.
I bet you.
All I'm saying is it's unrealistic to expect you to get that far again in that competition. You won't ever win it, buddy. That's what I'm saying. Like, you might not like it, but it's true.
I bet you if you look at the odds from this time last season of Tottenham Hotspur making the Champions League final, they would have been a lot longer than they are this time round.
Maybe,
simple as that. Yeah, of course they would be. What do you mean maybe?
But in reality, though, but because you've added players and because you got to the final, they have to take that into account. But in reality, what I'm saying is the chances of Spurs making another run to the final are much less likely to happen this season now. Is what I'm saying, because it's hard for any even
because
the best
we made the final
to
last
get
season,
to the final.
Yeah, okay, you're right there. But that's not the statistic that we should be looking at, because we made the final last year. That shouldn't be looked at as a negative. That's a positive, mate, that we made it.
So do you think? So what you're saying is you do think Spurs are going to lift that trophy this season, then? Because if you're more likely, well, hang on, you're saying it's more likely than last season.
No,
where you finished runner-up.
What I'm saying is it's more likely in terms of the bookies right now than it would have been on August the fucking 20th, 21st, whatever the fucking day is right now of 2018. That's what I'm saying, you can't.
Might be right. We're just going to have to take a little break here, Henry, because I need to get... Nicola! I need to get a drink, mate. I've run out of my drink.
I'm not surprised, mate. You know, I'd need to drink two after me berating you this evening, mate. It's been pretty feisty, isn't it, mate? You know, I thought we were supposed to be friends.
Please, darling.
Yeah, just this is going out to the pig and the hen listeners. It's only going to get more and more feisty, I believe, because we're two games in. Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, both on 4 points. 2 games in, 36 games to go, lads and lasses. 36 games to go, and can you not hear the passion? Can you not feel the tension? Me and the pig, we're pretty much best friends. But
I know you wouldn't know it, would you?
Not during football
calling
season.
each other cunts.
Not during football season. It is, you know what I mean? I do the pig and the hen show, and I love Tottenham more than I love you, mate.
You're always half cut as well, mate. You've always had at least 3 beers, which makes you even more feisty. Like if you hadn't have had that, you'd probably be a lot more chilled out, I reckon. That's what I'm saying. Like, how many have you had? Be honest.
I don't know, mate.
That's fine. I get it. It's Wednesday the head. It's piss up night for Henry, isn't it?
Mate, I need to drink, mate. I get bit by mosquitoes here. So, somehow the beer keeps them away, mate. I just need to pour a bit on my fucking ankles and that.
No, you do bring the feistiness out of me, though, Henry. I must say, and we are passionate about these teams. That's the thing. And do you know what? It is a sort of arrogance about Manchester United fans, because it just hurts me so much. We've been spoiled in my lifetime anyway with success, and in a way, our real understanding of Premier League football is not the same as most other clubs like Spurs. And I understand when you get into the position where you're almost at that point where you're challenging for the Premier League every single year and your team's getting better, you've got a really good squad. And I look at Manchester United and I see the years of work that it's going to take for Ole Gunnar and the team to get back to where we are. Man, it is... I am kind of bitter, mate. So I accept that. It's very frustrating.
Excuse me.
I just don't think it's going to last that long, though, because United are such a huge club. And historically, Spurs are one of those clubs that's... Thanks, darling. Spurs are one of those clubs... Cheers. That, Right, see you in a bit.
What have you got in there, mate? What have you got in there? What are you drinking now?
Just a bit of water, mate. A bit of H2O.
Bit of H2O. That moves me on to another topic that I want to speak about later, mate.
What's that, then?
Fluorine in the water, mate. Fluorine in the water. No. People listening to the show right now will understand exactly what I'm talking about. You can shake your head, you can bat an eyelid, but do your research. Where's that water come from? Is that straight out of the tap? Is it?
It is, yeah.
It's straight out of the tap, the British tap. Okay, in in England, which is the part of the United Kingdom that you
Here
reside.
we go. He's going to
I
fucking
believe.
rip into tap water now.
No, I've been looking into this. And the UK is thumbs up to fluorinated water. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't, do your own research. This is the Pick of the Head show. I'm not going to stand here and start saying things that people are going to think, what the fuck is HEN going on about? What I like to do is actually just make little statements, say things, and then say, look into it, read into it, and then it might open your eyes a little bit. That is all I'm saying. Simple as that.
Okay then, right then. Fair enough. Yeah, well, if you want to talk about that at the end a little bit, Hen, feel free. But yeah, we'll move on to a bit more football for now. I wanted to talk about the calamitous.
Solskjaer's had too much fluorine, mate.
I wanted to talk about the calamitous news or abuse that occurred after the game. Just briefly, I know I made a video on it yesterday, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it as well. And it's not just United fans, it's football fans in general, but Pogba was the victim of some social media abuse after the United performance. And I just want to say that is completely ridiculous to even bring race into it. It's a footballing issue. These people are just racist bastards, basically, and they're just looking for attention. They're just trolls. They're just trying to affect somebody with words. And, okay, fair enough, freedom of speech is great and everything, but there needs to be a line. You can't just be going around inciting hatred. I completely agree with what Harry Maguire said. He tweeted afterwards saying, these trolls need to be stopped. It's disgusting. These accounts should be verified. People should be accountable for what they say. And the fact is, like, some people might not agree, but in the UK, these crimes, if you racially abuse somebody on social media, that is actually a crime. It's actually a hate crime. So you should be accountable for these crimes. It's like making it easy for somebody, to just go and smash somebody's head in anonymously. Like, it's not. We've got CCTV cameras for a reason. We've got DNA profile. We've got all this stuff for a reason, because we're gonna find out who's done the crime. We can actually know who's done the crime by making social media accounts verify. So they need to verify with a passport, driving license, ID, whatever. Their mum needs to do it for them at this, whatever it may be. Okay, and I fully agree with what Harry Maguire said about that, because it's only going to get worse now. I think you're only going to see more of it. You're only going to see more players racially abused online, and it's something that needs to be completely cut out of football. And any Manchester United fan, and I've got a doubt that it is actually United fans, it could be a Leeds United fan who's just posing as a United fan doing this. It could easily be that, or somebody else, or just a non-football fan, anybody who just wants a bit of attention and to create a bit of a storm. But I truly believe any United fans that do that, you're complete dicks. You're an absolute. It doesn't help the football club. We've had fantastic black players over the years and still do in the squad. So the fact that you're targeting one of them and thinking that somehow excludes the other ethnicities or people that we've got in our squad, it's just completely wrong. So these people are just dicks, mate. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I want to hear your thoughts on it as well, because I'm sure it's something that's happened at Spurs before in the past as well, hasn't it?
Yeah,
There's a lot of racial stuff going on around Spurs.
It's happened
Do you know what I mean?
in football all over the world. Let's be honest. This is an issue. Hence the importance of it. Say no to racism is a slogan all over the place, and it should be. For me, I'm just going to comment on myself. Look, I'm looking inwards right now, and I'm kind of like I'm beyond this, and I'd like to think most people that listen to the Pick of the Head show are beyond this. It's like I couldn't care less where the color of your skin, the accent that you've got, your upbringing. Everybody's completely different. Who cares? And it's almost silly that we even need to worry about. But bottom line, there's so many black players, like not just in the Premier League, but internationally, brilliant players. Some of the best players in the world. I don't look at black, white, whatever color it is. Like what? For example, Harry Maguire fair play, sticking up for his teammate there. But imagine if Harry Maguire came under racial abuse. If there was people on Twitter saying, Harry Maguire, you fucking white, this, that, whatever, okay, whatever it is. And, I mean, that would be completely wrong. But at the same time, it would get less coverage. People wouldn't cover it. And I have to be honest with you, mate, even though I absolutely hate racism, I think the media is part to blame for the victimization of the racially abused. It's kind of making a victim out of anybody that gets racial hatred, and just kind of like, that for me, that's almost racism in itself. Like, I'm beyond that now. I'm beyond that. Everybody's just different.
Yeah,
Everybody plays football. Why do we have to
yeah.
talk about black or white? Why do we have to just go out of our way to say, oh, he's black, so you can't say this, you can't say that? To be honest, we shouldn't even be mentioning he's black at all. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? I don't care. He's black. So what? He's white. So what? So there's almost a bigger problem to it as well. I look at the media of the victimization of not just football, but in general. We've got this weird outlook where we just always have to jump and look after people that are victims, and actually that's racism in itself. This is coming from someone that's obviously mixed raced. That's my look on it. Yeah,
mate, I agree. Everybody
victim,
should be treated the same. Yeah.
Either, yeah.
Mate, I've experienced racism with you when we were still outside work once. We don't need to talk about what I said, but somebody just went past on a bicycle and said, bang out of order, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are complete twats, like, for no reason at all, and they've got no real reason to prejudge people. I think they're just narrow-minded. You can't change these people. Like, when children play together when they're young, they don't care what colour they are. Nobody's born racist. They are raised to be racist through the media, through their parents, through whatever it may be. They're not raised racist. And I think the point you were making about it doesn't matter what race you are to be racially abused, like if it was Maguire, you're absolutely right. But at the same time, because, there's certain minorities, it gets the media, like you say, build it up more than perhaps it would be the other way around. But then you have to think that it's not quite the same, because you're talking about ethnicities or races that have been persecuted for hundreds and hundreds of years. So there's all this extra stuff that goes along with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can say the same about maybe the white Irish, that they have been lauded over, and they've been looked down upon from the British over the years. Do you know what I mean? Like, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, I'm talking here. But this has built up this sort of social fabric of racism within that unique culture. And so it is slightly different from each race to each race. The level, it's not just racism is the same across the board, because white supremacists and all this stuff, and people who attack white people, it's no better. But in some ways, it's just there's more derogatory things you can say.
Pig. This is a brilliant debate. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong, but everything you're saying right now is kind of like how the mainstream media have made people feel, because it's like the victim mentality. Okay, so you're talking about because of people's history. I couldn't give a fuck what Of course, I care about my ancestry. But at the same time, it's like, I shouldn't. My life does not revolve around my ancestry. I've got my own life. Other people have got their lives. It's you shouldn't be someone that's like, because of that, this happened or that happened. So you can't say this, you can't say that, because you got to remember what happened to their grandpa or whatever. I mean, I think that's the wrong way of going about things completely. I think we should be beyond that. We should just look at how things are now. It
shouldn't exist to begin with, should it? Racism shouldn't exist to begin with. But you can't condone racism and say, but obviously it's just completely wrong. The colour of the skin should not come into it. If he had a shit performance, like in the video afterwards, I said Paul Pogba had a poor performance, really. Second half, he was poor. He missed that penalty, didn't step up, take his chance. But it's got nothing to do with race. And I'd have said the same if it was, any other player. But the fact is that some people, and they probably are trolls from other teams that have done this, it's just they should be accountable, is the point I'm making. It shouldn't be allowed to be said. Now, freedom of speech, fair enough. I had a big debate with somebody on the channel yesterday about freedom of speech. But the fact is, freedom of speech is great, but you cannot just go and openly say things that will incite hatred. As a society, we should be trying to work together. We've all got to live together at the end of the day. We've all got to integrate. That's what's happened. I mean, certainly in the UK anyway, it's a very multicultural society. We've all got to integrate. We've all got to live with each other. Let everybody crack on with whatever they want to do, culture and wise, as long as it's not hurting you. That's what I say.
Of course.
And then
the way I
respect
see it, though,
everybody.
the way I see it is, for example, platforms like Twitter, YouTube, which we're currently on right now, iTunes, etc. I don't think that those are the ones that should be making the decisions. The way I see it is they should just be platforms, just like a telephone service where you're phoning a friend, like Skype. We're using Skype right now, where you're just talking, and it's nothing. Anything that we say right now, if we say something that is breaking the law, then it's nothing to do with Skype. It's nothing to do with YouTube. It shouldn't be anything to do with Twitter. For me, the police should be the ones that are looking at social platforms now. And this is something that every government should look at. Like if people are actually inciting hate on Twitter, Facebook, etc., it shouldn't be Twitter or Facebook shutting these people down. This should go straight. The police should be looking at this straight away and then jumping on these people if they are actually committing a crime that is against the law of the land. That's how I look at it.
But that's what makes it difficult, because they can set up anonymous accounts, they can use proxies, they can set up all these things which stop them being as traceable as they would be if they didn't do those things. And that's obviously what most people are going to do if they're going to troll people racially online. What I'm saying and what Maguire's saying is, if you want a social media account, then you should have it verified. And do you know what? Overnight it would stop.
I'd agree with that 100%.
You still get some people.
I'd agree with that 100%.
You'd still get some. You'd still get some people be racist. Yeah, but then they're going to be held accountable for that. And if it's punishable by law, it's punishable by law.
Okay, look at it in this way, right? If you want to, let's say you want to go to Brazil tomorrow, what do you need to take with you?
Well, what do you mean? A lot of things, mate.
No, but what do you need to be?
I'm not just going to go in my birthday suit.
What do you need to get to Brazil?
Your visa.
Okay,
you need a
maybe
visa.
You might need a visa. I don't know if you need a visa or
or
not.
your passport.
If you're a UK
your passport.
citizen,
Your passport.
you need your passport.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at. You need your passport. So, what Maguire's probably getting at, you should need a fucking passport for social media. In a way, like a passport is you actually physically visiting somewhere. Do you know what? The modern day that we live in, the modern society that we're in now, you making a presence of yourself on social media is surely just as potentially damaging or potentially intrusive as is you actually taking your fucking flesh and bones to another country or across the world. Of course it is. So in that respect, if you're gonna participate in the social world online, then I believe yes, you do kind of need to have some type of. I'm not saying you need a permit to begin with, because obviously neither of us have that, and that nobody does. This doesn't exist. But what I'm saying is, if you're somehow looked down upon, and this should not be regulated by the platforms. It should not be regulated by YouTube, Twitter, etc. It should be something that's written into law. I believe law is behind the times when it comes to social media, and no wonder you have...
That is written in the law, mate. That is a law. It's a law. You cannot racially abuse... In the UK, it's a law. You cannot racially abuse somebody on social media, and people have been punished for it, where they've located them. But Twitter, Facebook, whoever it is, they kind of have a responsibility to as a platform, to make sure that it is being policed. And sure, the police can do their job, but Twitter they're the platform that are allowing people to oppose as somebody else. They're the people that are allowing somebody to attack somebody racially online from an anonymous point of view. And so they have to look at it, because if they continue to do that, it's probably only going to get worse with the way social media is going. So in order for everybody to stop these racist attacks on Twitter, why not? If you've got nothing to hide, it's like people have a problem with CCTV cameras. If you're not doing a fucking crime, why do you have a problem with CCTV cameras? Really? Okay, it's an invasion of privacy. Well, I don't care if some bloke seeing me walk down the fucking beach past past the promenade, because I'm not going to stab somebody in the eye, mate. I'm just going on my day out. It doesn't bother me at all. Same with verifying my account on Twitter. It wouldn't bother me at all. Why would I be bothered if I have to verify it and Twitter have to approve it? I have to upload the photo of my passport.
What are you trying to say, that you think that the people, within Twitter should have the authority to decide who they get a ban or not? But just because
they do that anyway,
Twitter.
don't they?
I know they
no,
do.
They already do that anyway.
This is why this is. I mean, this is something that I have a problem.
I'm not saying that at all, Henry. Just so you know, I'm not actually saying that at all.
We've gone this bit of a divergence from Paul Pogba. I hate racism.
Divergence. I
hate racism. What I'm saying is, if people are spouting racial hatred on social media, they should be investigated. They should be brought down. But they should be brought down by the authorities, not by the platforms themselves. And
you're misunderstanding.
That's how I look at
it. Yeah, I agree. That and that is what will happen. It's not like they're just going to be blocked by Twitter. If somebody sends somebody a racial attack, like has been sent at Paul Pogba, then Twitter would work with the police, or because their account's been verified, the police would have access to who actually has committed that crime. So that's what I'm getting at. I'm getting at the point that there needs to be some sort of accountability. You can't just anonymously send tweets.
Twitter should be concentrating on verifying accounts. That's all they need to worry about, rather than letting anybody say whatever the fuck they want to and then trying to do something about it.
Absolutely. There you go. Because people can say whatever they want to, and they continue to do that if they can do it from an anonymous place. And Twitter will just block them. There's no point having Twitter police it themselves. Sure, they'll remove the accounts. They've done that with, millions of accounts. They've already done that. But it
Alex Jones
needs to be accountable. It is exactly. It is a crime.
Alex
so
Jones
if it's a
is
crime,
not a racist. He's never said anything racial. Okay, he said a few things here and there, but
he said some outlandish stuff, mate.
He certainly,
Come on.
But bottom line, a decision was made to ban him off Twitter. That was not a police decision. That was a Twitter decision. This was
I don't know what was said.
a YouTube
I
decision,
can't really comment,
and that's what's mad, mate.
But didn't he say something horrible like, "Oh, the Sandy Hook shooting at that school was a complete, was like a false flag. It didn't happen."
What happened is there's people that had said to Alex Jones that they thought that could be a possibility, and all he said, and this was years ago, years before he was taken off social media, years and years, more than 5 years, and all he'd said is, maybe. That's what he'd said. He said maybe.
Is that actually what he said, or did he just say it was a hoax? And did he?
As far as I'm concerned, I've looked into this. And as far as I know, all he's ever said is that could be true, basically. He's never fundamentally said, definitely, this was a hoax. And
even then, there's an argument to say, though, like, why can't he have that opinion in the public domain? Why are they censoring that opinion? I understand that, but there does have to be a line, because you're talking about real children that were murdered. You're talking about real parents who have had their lives knocked to the ground, and then he's just making light of it and using it for his own personal gain to get clicks or to get people eyes on his channel, whatever it may be. And he's saying all these things which he's done over the years, just come out with all these outlandish claims, and some of which have turned out to be true, but the majority of them not. Now, if he's prepared to do that and not take into account the actual lives that his comments may affect, then maybe that twat does deserve to be banned. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. It could be very hurtful what people say, especially if it's not true. It's disgusting. But he didn't actually come out and say it in that respect. And you say that a couple of things he said is true. But a lot of things are bullshit. Do you know what? The way I look at it is a lot of things that he said has not been fundamentally proven yet, but a couple of things he said have turned out to be completely true. And the reason
if you throw enough shite at the wall, some of it will stick.
The reason I've looked at this more and more is it comes back down to the Epstein suicide, supposed suicide. Even on the last Pig and the Hen show, you said that he had been suicided. That we've had
Sounded like
autopsy report, several breaks in the neck, like he would have had to literally throw himself off the top bunk purposely, and it just killed himself in a really ridiculous way to have have those kind of breaks in his neck bones there. Bottom line, Epstein is being linked with the Clintons. He's been linked with the royal family of our Great Britain, Prince Andrew, and there's been other major names involved in this. And it's just look at. I'll come back to this again. I don't want to be standing here. I'm not Alex Jones. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. All I'm saying is I look into these things. I read as much as I can and watch what I can and try to get an idea of it. And all I do is encourage viewers out there, if you're hearing what I'm saying right now, to do your own research. I'm not standing by anyone. I'm just saying, do your research. What I like about Alex Jones is I feel like he is someone that just puts things out there. At least it gives you something to digest.
Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, we've got different opinions on Alex Jones. I respect that. I don't think really you can deplatform Alex Jones for what he said necessarily. That's what I think. But it still affects people's lives, and it comes to a point when words are extremely damaging and extremely hurtful and can cause a lot of problem. When you've got a platform like him and you're spouting stuff like that, then it's going to cause problems. But people have said worse, though.
So what you're saying is he was deplatformed because he was big and because he said something. But people that are small time and say more bad things, that's fine because they don't have so many followers. So
I don't really know why he was. I don't know why he was deplatformed. But
someone there is making the decision because you have enough listeners, enough followers. Someone somewhere is thinking, this guy, he's too popular, and he's saying things that are. Okay, what you're trying to say is not nice things. So the decision's been made to deplatform that person. The trouble is we are stumbling into new territory as a society.
Very true.
Nobody's dealt with this kind of shit before.
Well, it's an interesting debate anyway, Henry. Like, I guess on the face of it, when I am very, very skeptical about things. I don't take everything for face value, but at the same time, I'm nowhere near as tinfoil hat, forgive the expression, as you are, mate, because you do look at things with that conspiracy eye. Like, for instance, it didn't even enter my head that Sergio Aguero and Pep Guardiola, that was a pre-planned PR move, whereas you've somehow come up with looking way too deep into that, mate. And I just think that is the way that maybe certain people look at it. And
I was joking.
Anyway,
I was joking about that. Mate.
I know, but it's easy to say that now.
No, mate. Come on, mate. Now we're
you seemed serious at the time.
Now we're talking about it. I genuinely think that was just a natural reaction from watching it, mate. Of course I do, mate. I was just saying that earlier, just for the fun of it. I'm being honest right now, okay?
No, fair play.
But this is how. Just imagine if this is how people get taken out of context. Because you might say something jokingly, people record it, edit it, bang, put it out, and then suddenly you look like an absolute cunt because you said something, even though it was only in jest or you didn't really mean it, or it was taken out of context.
I suggest you watch the first 10 seconds back of the podcast for an example. Anyway, yes, mate, we are sort of running out of time. There's a couple of things I want to get onto. Well, yes, we will do that shortly. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about really before, which is not football related, but it is Conor McGregor recently punched an old man in the face. I know we wanted to discuss it because what an absolute tithead. I mean, I've already had my say about it on the channel, but I mean, the more you see it, the worse it is. I don't understand it. He's obviously said, I don't want any of your shite whiskey. He's taken a lot of offence to that, Conor McGregor, and actually a professional UFC fighter punched an old man who was looking away in the face at a bar. I mean, there's no excuses for this whatsoever. I was always kind of a fan of Conor McGregor, not the last couple of years or so, because he has turned into an absolute douchebag. You can just see that. He's the flashiest, freaking most arrogant bastard that there is. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real. But he's a great fighter, and he was so so entertaining. He is still fantastic, great value entertainment. But the problem is he's got way too big for his britches. He thinks that he's better than everyone. If this guy said to him, I don't want any of your shite, fair enough, mate, your loss. That's all he needs to say. He doesn't need to punch him in the face because this guy doesn't want to taste his golden shitty whiskey, whatever it is. So I think Conor McGregor needs to get back to basics, get back to being that humble Crumlin boy, and focus on maybe getting back in the octagon, because he's being left behind, mate. Khabib Nurmagomedov, you know, like if those two ever fought again, which I don't think necessarily will happen, I am rooting for Khabib this time around, because Khabib don't go around punching old blokes in the face in bars, does he? Let's be real now. So the last time around, for some reason, I just wanted McGregor to win. This time, 100% want Khabib to win if they ever fought again, which I don't think is going to happen. He's being left behind, though. Little bit of a tangent. We'll go back to your thoughts on this, but I just want to say, at the weekend, Nate Diaz fought, and at the end of his fight, after he won, he didn't call out Conor McGregor for that trilogy fight. No, he called out Jorge Masvidal, because Nate Diaz probably realizes that Conor McGregor's got too many things going on. Maybe he's not going to return to the sport. And I noticed Conor McGregor posted the nicest post you ever see Conor McGregor post afterwards about Nate Diaz, because he did it. He said, "Oh, fair enough, Nate, not calling me out after the fight. I respect you. You know, you're a warrior." All this shit. Like, yeah, he didn't call you out because it's unrealistic, mate. Because you're off selling whiskey, you're off punching twats in bars. You know, not that guy's a twat. Actually, he's the twat who punched him. Is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, he needs to make himself relevant again in the MMA community. I mean, he doesn't, because he's a multimillionaire. He's making shitloads of money from this whiskey. But it's like, if you're going to comment, if you're going to ever want to get back in the cage or the octagon, then you've got to control yourself. You've got to be a professional. You've got to stop doing these insane things outside of the ring or outside the octagon, which is only going to stop you from getting back in there. And maybe he doesn't want to fight another day in his life. But all I'm saying is, he's a tit. He's a tit these days.
No,
Sorry,
he is.
Connor.
He is. You know,
Yeah,
like,
what do you think?
I think he's done, isn't he? McGregor's done, mate. Do you know what I mean? Even if he does it, I'm not saying he will never have another fight again, but it won't be serious. If he does have another fight, it'll be for the money. Of course it will be. You know, he's made it. He's done what he's done. He was brilliant when he was at his best. You know, certainly since after that Floyd Mayweather atrocity that he participated in. I mean, that was kind of the end for him, you know. But that was the payday. That was the big payday. That was his fucking retirement. Now he's shipping. Now he's getting involved in this whiskey. Yeah, I missed out on a big opportunity here, and I think I messaged you about this. I actually changed my mind about how the potential viral Twitter Vine could have gone. But my original idea was like just pretending to try a bit of his whiskey, spitting it out and saying, "This is shit, Conor McGregor. What are you doing, mate?" But actually, it'd be better. I mean, what is the name of his whiskey? Do you know?
Proper 12.
Proper 12. Okay, so you get a bottle of. Trouble is, you'd have to buy the shit, wouldn't you? But if you had a bottle of,
you could just print out the label, mate. Print out a label and stick it around.
Exactly. Smack it on a bottle, and you need a little psychic. You need a little helper to help you make this little video here. But you just get someone there going, you know, would you like a bit of proper 12? And you just say, nah, thanks, mate. Tastes like shit. You know, something like that, mate. You know, it just everybody does that and tweets it to fucking Conor McGregor just to let him know, fuck you, mate.
I like it.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Why hasn't that been done, mate?
Mate, let's get that on the go. Everybody just tweet out a little video clip tasting something that looks like proper 12 to Conor McGregor with the hashtag
not even taste
proper
it, mate.
shit.
Because if you
with the
want to stick
hashtag
up,
proper
if you want to
shite.
stick up for the old man, actually, you can't even taste it. You just say, nah, thanks, mate. I know that shit.
Smash it on the floor.
You know, no, fuck off, mate. No.
Yeah, no, he's done himself no favours here whatsoever, mate. I mean, it's a shame. It's a real shame, but it comes a point when you've just got to realise that maybe these people are just dickheads. Sometimes you think, oh, and he seemed very humble back in the day when he first started in the UFC. He was jovial, he was entertaining, he was trash talking, but nothing compared to like in the build-up between the Khabib and Conor fight. I thought that was so disrespectful from him. You know, obviously Khabib is a Muslim. You've got to respect his faith. He's putting this proper whiskey in his face. He's a devout Muslim. He doesn't drink alcohol. He's putting that alone, I think, was very disrespectful. But then he's calling him. He's actually making derogatory put downs using the word Muslim in it, which is just, it's you can't do stuff like that, and that's what Conor McGregor was doing in the previous fight. I was disgusted by that.
I mean,
but at the same
this
time,
is what is mad, though. I mean, we love football, and obviously, I think you love UFC more than I do, but I still take an interest. But the fact is that, let's say one of your Manchester United players, or let's say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was coming out with the kind of shit that Conor McGregor comes out with. Let's say, okay, I'm trying to think of who is the best Muslim player in the Premier League. It's got to be Mohamed Salah. Of course it is. Salah, yeah. Just imagine before the Liverpool game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out with the same sort of drivel that
don't say it.
That McGregor comes out with. I'm not saying it, yeah. But if he if he came out with the similar kind of stuff, tell me what would happen, Pig. What would happen?
Well, that's it. He'd get terminated immediately, wouldn't he?
Would he? He'd be gone, mate.
He couldn't say. You can't say shit like that. You can't.
Why not though? Oh. I'm not saying it's okay.
You couldn't even say Mo Salah. He's a rat. Let alone using the actual word.
So why can Conor say it and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't? Why?
Well, I guess it's a different.
Oh, so that makes it okay? Is that you're trying to say that makes it okay?
Well, it's not a professional sport. You're talking about a sport that is populated by rough and ready individuals, often which don't have too many brain cells intact. So, but I'm not saying it's okay. No, he went too far, is what I'm saying. Trash talk has a place in boxing. It has a place in fight sports. It doesn't necessarily have a place much in football.
So you're saying trash talk, you're allowed racism in trash talk? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. That's exactly what I was saying, was the point that what Conor said was way too far, and he shouldn't have said that, and it's had a racist connotation to it.
But is it Conor's fault that basically, the UFC as a sport, in terms of the media associated with UFC, accept what Conor says? Otherwise, they'd say you're not allowed to fight, mate. We're going to shut you down. You can't say that. That's what you're saying would happen in football, but that doesn't happen in the UFC because it's a different sport. Now, is that okay or is that not okay?
Well, it is. It's probably not okay. It's different, isn't it? But the UFC is a privately owned company. So really the final decision lies with them. It's up to people to tune in or not. If they don't want to tune in and watch Conor McGregor, they don't have to. But from a business point of view, they're putting on fights. It's probably good for them that Conor McGregor said those things and drummed up all this controversy and interest in it.
Of course it is, yeah.
So they probably, that's why Conor McGregor is where he is. No, do you think if Ray Borg, who was the guy who was hit in the eye and had a glass shard in his eye, who was sat on the bus, who had nothing to do with anything and was an injured bystander by Conor McGregor when he threw that dolly at that coach when he attacked Khabib's team in New York, right? If you think Ray Borg was on the other side of that and he was trying to get onto somebody on the... If you don't think Ray Borg would have been sacked off the moment that stopped by the UFC, then you're foolish. Because the only reason Conor McGregor is still fighting is because he makes the UFC a shit ton of money. So they have to make these allowances for these douchebags. It's kind of like... and I like Mike Tyson these days, but back when Mike Tyson was a fighter, he did some very, very questionable things, didn't he? You're talking about biting people's ear off during fights, and most people wouldn't want anything to do with that because it gives your brand, whatever it may be, a really bad look. But at the same time, he's making you a shit ton of money. So there comes a point where you are making allowances for them. But there will be a point, if Conor McGregor continues to act as he is, that the UFC, even though he's that much of a cash cow for them, would have to wash their hands with him because they wouldn't want to be associated with such a negative brand, which is what he's turning himself into at the moment. So good luck to him, but I'm no longer a fan. I know there's lots of people out there that are no longer fans, and he needs to sort himself out because he's only making himself look like a right tit, and he's only costing himself money at the end of the day. He smashed that fan's phone up in Miami. He's punched this old man in the face. He had to pay him a lot of money, the phone guy, and he also had to pay millions out for that whole bus incident because there was a couple of people that were injured bystanders. He had to pay millions out. When's he going to wake up and realise that he doesn't need to be a tit? Just keep your head down, focus. Fair enough if you don't want to be a fighter anymore. I understand it. He's achieved all there is to achieve. He was a double champ. He's only lost to a couple of people, Diaz and Khabib. He got the Diaz one back. He's had a great career. He could retire right now and be very, very comfortable. His children's children could be very, very comfortable with what he's earned. That's what I mean, which is fair enough if he wants to do that. But if he doesn't want to do that, then he cannot act the way that he is.
Yeah, but who's going to stop him? This comes back to my point. he can say whatever the fuck he wants, and no one is going to touch him. And I think this has been a theme of the Pig and the Hen show episode this evening. We've been talking about people that are in the public eye, that say things and do things in different respects, different professions. Some people are deplatformed, some people aren't. All I'm saying is not a level playing field out there, boys and girls. The world that we live in is not fair. You know that. You knew that growing up. And it's still the same right now.
I tell you what though, Hen, you're right though, like we were saying afterwards, the first hour of this podcast we just basically argued back and forth because we've both got so much passion for our own football teams and we don't like it when something puts the other one down, right? But when we're just talking about a topic that we don't really give that much of a shite about, we don't have the passion in it, it makes for a much more open and honest and intellectual chat, doesn't it, really? Let's be honest. You bring the worst out of me, Hen, is what I'm saying.
I think that's just normal and natural. It's like we're like a couple, isn't it? You have a fight and then you kiss and make up. But
because I must apologise for calling you a cunt earlier on in this video, mate.
No, I'm not apologising for nothing. Let's move on. Let's move on to the questions.
I'll take it back.
If anyone's actually listening live right now, I think we need to have a bit of a Q&A.
Right, okay, let's do this, because we have actually, I can't believe the time this Pig and the Hen show has gone on. It's flown by today. It's currently 1 hour and 35 minutes on the clock, which is about the time we like to keep these shows. So we'll just stick around for 10 minutes, have a little bit of a Q&A here, and read some of the comments that are coming through at the end. So let me just go and find some. So let's just deal with the super chats first, because obviously we love all the people that send these super chats in, and they deserve to be read out because they've actually taken the time and money to send an opinion in. We will read out all you paupers questions too, but let's get on to the rich kids. So Alex Rudd comments, disagree with Henry, government shouldn't decide speech. Oh, can of worms, Alex.
The thing is, Rudd, right, I'm going to jump straight in on this. I absolutely agree with you. 100% agree with you. This is the problem. But I felt like I had to say that because who else is going to decide on speech? Okay, so if you've got Twitter, you've got YouTube, you've got these companies, essentially, let's say Google, people like that are actually making the decision to ban people. Then how do you stop that? Then, okay, well then, would you not look at the government? Not the government. What I'm talking about is the law of the land. You've got laws in place. It's not like you're going to the Prime Minister or the President or the Chairman or whoever the fuck it is that's in charge of your country at the time saying, what we're going to do about this person. You should already have the law of the land in place, which is then referred to in these situations. So I'm not saying rely on the government. I'm saying the law should be upheld by the police. That's what I'm trying to say, Alex Rudd, mate. I hope because I'm with you, mate. Rudd's probably the same as me, mate. He wants small government. He doesn't want us to live in fucking George Orwell's 1984, mate. Nor do I, mate. Nor do I at all. That is what I'm 100% completely against.
Respect. Just another quick one for you from Rudd, Henry. He says VAR saved Spurs twice, once on the foul and the hand. So, and he says, do the rules allow your players to tackle in the box? So basically, he's having a pop at you there, mate.
Well, the trouble is, it's not Rudd, mate. It's not Tottenham's fault what is going on with VAR. VAR has definitely got all sorts of issues. We haven't even got onto this, Pig, have we? We're going to have to talk about it next Pig and the Hen show in terms of our actual personal opinions on VAR. Because all we've spoken about is what's actually going on with VAR, but I haven't actually talked at all about what I think should be the case. But bottom line, it's not Tottenham Hotspur's fault. We've just been lucky that the rule, the way that they're doing it right now, or they have done it in the Champions League and they've done it in the Premier League, it's actually worked out for us. Simple as that.
Fair play. Well, thank you very much for your super checks there, Alex Rudd, and for moderating this stream as well. Mark Sin with a super chat as well. Thank you, Mark. Says everyone take a shot if the pig says Alex Ferguson. So he's got a new drinking game on the go there. Thank you very much, Mark. Sin the Pig in the Hen Show drinking game, and maybe let's make it. You've got to take a shot when I say Alex Ferguson, and you've got to take a shot when Henry says etc. etc.
Oh, no, you say Sir Alex Ferguson, or I say Sir Alex Jones. Take a shot at it.
Oh my days! Right. Okay. Thank you to everybody who's super chatted in. Let's just read out a few more comments here. Buster B comments, he defended the title once. How can people call him a double champ? Well, to be fair, he was the double champ. He had the featherweight belt and he had the lightweight belt. That makes him the double champ. Okay, he might have only defended it once. Did he even defend the other one as well, ever? I'm not so sure. I think he just had it taken away, didn't he? So I know what he's saying. He's not really they like to say you have to defend each belt before you're the true champ, but he was the first ever double weight champ. That's an achievement. So in terms of achievements in the sport, he's not got too many left. And the problem I've got with Conor McGregor is that his route back there is, I mean, who's he going to fight? Even Nate Diaz, it's a losable fight for him. Cowboy Cerrone, it's a losable fight for him. Khabib Nurmagomedov, it's a lose for him. So there's not that many fights for him to come back with that's going to guarantee him getting back to where he wants to be anyway. So he's almost better off now just hanging it up. That's what I'd do if I was in. Focus on my bloody whiskey company, then you can act as much as a tit as you want, can't you? Thank you for your question though, buddy. And everybody who is tuning in, please do us a favour, chuck a like on this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Every 3 p.m. or around about 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, we will have a Pig in the Hen Show football podcast. They're not often as leery or as argumentative as this one is today, but sometimes they are, so just be prepared. Also,
should be, man. It should be. Right, just quickly, let me get a word in edgewise.
Go on then.
With these questions, please state who you are directing the question at. So let's say you've got a question for the pig primarily, or for the pig only, then say it on the question. If you want to ask the head a question, then say it on the question. Then we know who you're expecting a response from. And I think that's just a bit of advice there for the viewers. I think it'd be good to know.
Or we could just work that out for ourselves, or maybe we could both give our opinions. So now what you're saying is they have to say, pig, this is my question, hen, this is my question, or pig and hen,
I'm not
this
saying,
is my question for you both.
This is what I mean. You're taking what I said out of context. This is what the mainstream media do.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, mate. Yes,
That's what you meant.
No,
you said you wanted to be addressed as the hen, we would know who the question's for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
so how's that taken out of context, mate?
If you could do that, that would be lovely. If you want an answer from either yourself or myself, but if you don't want to direct the question, you just want to ask the question, that's fine too. That's fine too.
Fine, I've got one for you here from George, who comments, Henry, talk about what you know.
What I know, George, what I know, George, is the reason you asked that question is because you know that I know stuff that you're probably thinking about, and you started to ask the questions yourself, mate. What I'm telling you, George, right now is get out there, do your own research, anything that you're suspicious about, find out yourself, and come back to me. Ask me another question next time. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it.
Fair play. And everybody who is in the chat, thank you so much for getting by. If you do want to ask either of us anything at the end of the show here, please do. Please do. Beachy says, bet Henry could cause a row in an empty house. It's not really a question, it's just a statement, but there's not much coming through at the end here, guys. Anyway, we'll probably wrap it up now. But I wanted to, because we have been going for a long time, but I just wanted to give a shout out to the new channel that we have set up. Go over and subscribe to it. It's called Pig and the Hen Clips. So on YouTube, find it, Pig and the Hen Clips, and it's just basically we'll cut down a few little segments, like for instance the Conor McGregor bit might be on there just as its own little video, or the racism bit, or me calling Henry a cunt. Those bits might just be on there randomly on their own. So go over to the Pig and the Hen Show Clips channel and do give it a subscribe. Thank you to everybody who tunes in and watches these and interacts and all that sort of stuff.
Where I am right now, this will become the infamous, like, hen house, should we call it? The hen shed?
Hen house, that's good.
Whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, this is where I am right now. And, yeah, memories, mate. I'm already making memories here right now.
Kabir Shah comments with a question for you, Hen. He says, Hen, are you ever coming back to the UK?
I'll come back for a holiday here or there, but not to live. And I'll tell you why. It's because of the fluorine in the water. No, I'm joking. Mate. I'm joking. No, I mean,
That's
you know,
awesome.
the water here in China is nothing to write home about.
Isn't it fluoride in the water, though?
Or fluoride, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
Well, you
Do
keep
know
calling
what I
it fluorine. Is that what it is, or is it fluoride? I always thought it was fluoride.
Same thing, mate. As far as I know, mate. I don't care, mate.
How can it be? How can it possibly be the same thing, mate?
Well, because the trouble is, I've drunk so much of that shit, mate. My mind's melted to the state where I don't even know how it's fucking said. You know what I mean? It lowers your IQ level, cunt. I'm telling you.
You must have been drinking a lot of it today, then, buddy.
I mean, I drink beer because it nullifies it, mate. No, I'm joking, mate. I better not say stuff like that because then people start believing it. But you know, honestly, mate, this just do your own research. It is scary, the fact that it's, you know, okay. So, but bottom line, you've got like billions of people worldwide drinking fluorinated water. Did any of those people drinking that fluorinated water make the decision that they wanted to drink fluorinated water? Were those people even told that water is fluorinated? Were those people informed what the fuck fluorine is? Those are the questions you need to start asking. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I think it's a bit of I think you're right. I think it's a bit of a bold move just to put stuff in the water and just assume that everybody's going to be fine with drinking that.
Well, surely water should just be water. Surely water is supposed to be H2O. I think water and H2O.
They supposedly put that stuff in for our teeth and bones and things like that, so the general population stays a bit healthier. That's supposedly what it is. But you're saying it supposedly kills you, right?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying do your research. There are scientists out there that are saying that it causes this, it does that, and that's what's scary, mate. You know, there's a new report out today, independent study into fluorine consumption that indicated it lowers the IQ, and it particularly lowers the IQ in men rather than women. Did you know that? And do you know why that is? It's because women are tougher. Because women are designed to take a tougher existence when it comes to that. Just because women have babies, their bodies are different to men. So men are actually more susceptible to the bad points of this shit that we're fucking taking in, mate. This
Exhibit A.
Chemical fucking eugenic fucking dehumanization of the world, mate, from the new world order, mate, the fucking Illuminati.
So just a summary of the difference here, and fluorine is an element. Fluoride either refers to the fluorine ion or to a compound that contains the element fluorine. So yeah,
same thing, mate. Yeah.
Same. It's got the original sources there, but it's not the same thing though, is it? Because a compound is different. That's like saying hydrogen and oxygen are the same, but they make water, so they're not the same, are they? They might come from the same source, but they're not the same, mate. Okay.
Okay, well, the stuff they're putting in your toothpaste, mate, that's what you want to avoid.
Fair play. So what do you use? Do you use that charcoal stuff?
Well, no, I mean, I still use fucking normal toothpaste because I have normal money and I just buy normal fucking groceries and normal shit. But this is what concerns me,
you get charcoal
mate,
toothpaste
because
these
the vast
days, mate.
majority of people just buy the normal shit that everybody fucking buys without thinking twice about what they're actually putting into their bodies. Or
this is where people need to educate themselves, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Educate yourself. You know, I've been dumbed down, mate. I was a lot more clever 10 years ago, and I'm not just putting it down to fucking alcohol consumption. I'm not, mate. Or supporting Tottenham Hotspur, mate. They are not bad things to do. They are
just
not
one at the end here,
mate. It's the fluorine, mate.
Just one at the end here from Paul Lucas says, Hen needs his own channel, call it Tin Hat Hen. I like that. Maybe
Tin Hat Hen, mate.
Tin Hat Henry.
Honestly, can you send me through the super chats? Could you get us a tin hat and send it through?
Right, guys. Anyway, It was Gungshi sent that super chat. He wants me to get you a torch, mate. So that's what you're getting, and a windproof mic. Anyway, thank you to everybody for tuning into the show today. Bit of a random one, but we wanted to talk about obviously the weekend's football and the VAR and the Wolves calamity and the Spurs being unlucky and all of that. We wanted to talk about all of that today. So thank you to everybody who has tuned in live. You're a bunch of legends. Do us a favour before you go. Please smash a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Go over to the Pig and the Hem Clips new channel on YouTube. Give that a subscribe. Henry, are you using social media at the moment?
I am, mate, but when 5G comes out, mate, I might not be able to do the Pig and the Hen show anymore, mate, if it's through 5G, because honestly, that is the new wave of killing humanity. It is.
Oh, that's the mind control, is it? That's
is, mate.
Orwellian mind control.
It is, mate.
Fucking hell, Hen. Fucking hell, Henry.
It's actually been pretty. Look, do your own research. Do your own research into it, mate. 5G is scary stuff, mate. And it's actually
so why are they just allowing that?
I am in China right now. Shh. I'm in China right now. It's coming from China, and it's gonna. Yeah, I can't say too much.
All right, you're gonna get us pulled off the internet, mate.
If we get pulled off, mate, doesn't that tell it? Doesn't that say everything?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you basically, if this channel disappears, you'll know what's happened. Okay. If you wake up and you found out that I've been suicided, just know that I didn't do it myself. Okay.
The hen did it.
Right then, guys. Anything to add at the end here, Hen?
Nah, mate. No, I think I've said enough actually for once.
All right then, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in today. Every Wednesday, 3 p.m. See you next week for the Pig and the Hen show. I've got the Fire in My Room diss track for the Crystal Palace game.
It's so
That's going to be coming
actually.
Friday.
Anyone that's listening to the Pig and the Hen show right now that has not watched the Pig Fire in My Room versus Wolves, it didn't work, did it? Obviously, Ollie didn't play it before the game, or maybe he played it before the game. He should have played it again at half time, mate. What the fuck?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Did you mention Neves or Moutinho in the song or not?
Not those two, because they're actually pretty good, aren't they?
That's where you're going wrong. That's where you're going wrong, though. Do you know what I mean? You don't diss those guys. Them guys fucking come up with the mustard. So you know what I mean? But in all honesty, mate, brilliant musical performance. I have been. I'm going to tell all the Pig and the Hen fans out there that are listening right now, that's still listening. I've actually heard the demo for the Crystal Palace Fire in My Room. I'm telling you what, guys, it is something sensational. It really is, mate. And I'm no massive fan of the Pig,
mate. What are you doing? You're building this up way too much.
I cannot deny how talented the Pig is when it comes to this kind of shit. All right. So just get ready for it. Get ready for it. That's what I'm saying.
Keep a lookout on Friday, lads and lasses. Thanks for that. Thanks for that confidence there, Henry. Much appreciated. Thank you for stopping by on the show as ever. And great to have your passion on the channel anyway. Have yourself a good week, and we'll catch up with you next week on Wednesday. I want to shout out to Alex Rudd, Gaz Newton, George Harold, Amless, Ian T, Jarvis Cocker, Edward Lamptey, Paul Lucas, Gungshi, Beachy, all you guys, everybody else as well for tuning in. Thanks so much for stopping by. You enjoy the rest of your week, and keep a lookout for the upcoming videos on the channel. And go and subscribe to the Pig and the Hen clips. Right then, guys, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you soon. I've been the Pig.
No, I've been the Hen. Bop, bop.
Take it easy. We'll see you next Wednesday.